thank you for the last discussion we had. I know that so many people have been calling me and, trying to commend me on the, bringing you on the platform. That is why I said, let me still bring you again so that we can talk more on things that bothers the Igbo. For those of them that were not here in our last podcast, please, I would like you to introduce yourself again.
Greetings, everyone. Greeting to Igbo all over the world. My name is Comrade Igboayaka or Igboayaka, National President, Ohanaeze Youth Council.
Sir, there is something that, as an Igbo man, there is something that bothers me so much. And that is what I want us to. That's why I brought out the topic, the Igbos, the problem of Nigeria. I have seen some comments, both on social media and terrestrial media, where people term the Igbos as the problem of this country. And that is what the core thing I want us to discuss. I want to really ask you, is Igbo the problem of Nigeria?
If anyone thinks that Igbo is the problem of Nigeria, they should work towards a referendum or plebiscite so that Igbo can be separated from Nigeria, so that Igbo will not be problem of Nigeria. That is what they need to do.
Even our brothers, those of them in Niger Delta, those of them in Asaba, don't even regard us as their brothers. When you ask them, they say they are Delta Igbo. You ask them, are you an Igbo person? They say no, they are not Igbo person. They are Niger, they say they are Igbo Delta. And they are trying to avoid being associated with us, because they say that Igbos are the problem of this country. So I want to know which way, what really make them, what really prompts them to say that Igbos, and most of them are already avoid the Igbos, the core Igbos, because they say they are the problem of Nigeria.
There is nothing like core Igbo. An Igbo man is an Igbo man anywhere. Okay. In the present Nigeria today, and according to the state creation in Nigeria, the Igbo people are predominantly in about 13 states, and that is Southeast and the South, and 2 states in the North Central, that is Kogi and Benue. And the self-denial of the Igbo identity is one of the most conspiracy of self-denial of personal identity that I have seen in the world. It's very, very unfortunate. Before the Nigeria Biafra genocide that the federal government with Britain carried against the Igbos, before that time, there is nothing like denial. You know, some of the areas within the waterline area that was captured during the Nigeria Biafra Civil War. So the only way of survival for the Igbo people living in that area is to, their father told them to come with that self-denial in order to live. But I think the Biafra Civil, the genocide against the Igbos has come and gone, and I don't think it is reasonable for any person to deny his or her own identity. But I just want to make a point that this denial is as a result of the genocide against the Igbos from 1967 to 1970. Because the genocide in 1967 to 1970 against the old Eastern Nigeria, the target was to the Igbos. If the Igbos weren't involved, if there is nothing like Igbos, that genocide wouldn't have taken place. But that genocide took place because of the envy and because of the because of envy against the nature, the economic nature, the political nature, the social nature, and everything about an Igbo man. That was why that genocide was carried. And like I said before, that we lost over 4.3 million Igbos in that genocide. So we know who are Igbos, and we know the boundaries of Igbo land. So that is really the fact, and that is really the simple truth.
As Igbo, the problem of Nigeria, don't you think that this is the problem that it has been affecting us that are Igbos?
It's not affecting us. If any person says that the Igbo people are the problem of them, what you need to do as an intelligent person, you cannot keep something that is causing you problem. It is foolishness and stupidity to keep something that is causing you problem. If the Igbos are the problem of Nigeria, those who think so, they should push Igbo away from Nigeria so that Igbo can have their own country. That is a simple thing an intelligent man should do. There's somebody who is sincere that Igbos are the problem of Nigeria, because you cannot have a woman in your house who is causing you problem, every time. What you need to do is to go and look for divorce or separation. But you cannot say that the woman is causing you problem and you still want to accept the woman to be part of the woman in the same roof. It is a hypocrisy at the highest level. So those, I will not say, yes, that Igbos are not, or Igbo, they are the problem of Nigeria. Our position is very simple. The tribe or the group of people or any person that's saying that Igbos are the problem of Nigeria should work hard to ensure that there is a referendum in Nigeria so that Igbos will not constitute the problem of Nigeria again. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Yeah, so you know why I'm saying this? You know why I brought out this topic? Where I'm living now, when I came here to seek for an apartment, to look for an apartment, I was told that they don't want Igbos.
Where?
Where I live in Lagos.
Okay.
I was told that, please, they don't want Igbos. I said, what happened? He said, say Igbo, their problem. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the reverse was the case. So when I came in, when they were saying that, are you sure you are an Igbo person? I told them that you people should not be generalizing issues. That if you have met any Igbo man and he treated you bad, that is a personal thing. So that's why I'm still bringing this issue, because the same thing is affecting us individually all over the world. It's still affecting us all over the world. So what advice are you going to give to most of us that language is being affected? Igbos are the problem of Nigeria. Therefore, we should not give them apartments.
Anyway, on the personal basis or individual basis, an Igbo man is a very resilient and a very courageous and very industrious person. An Igbo man cannot live in an apartment and you want to take advantage of him or humiliate him or treat him anyhow. An Igbo man is a proud man naturally. So an Igbo man seeks for justice, an Igbo man seeks for equity. So sometimes in a situation where an Igbo man resists injustice, you think that an Igbo man is a bad person. In a situation where an Igbo man is rejecting inequality, you think that an Igbo man is a bad person. In a situation where you want to treat an Igbo man as a slave and an Igbo man is rejecting that act, you think that Igbo man is a bad person. In a situation where an Igbo man is not coming to knock at your house to beg you bread or beg you for anything, you think that an Igbo man is so contented and you think that he's feeling on top of the world. It is our nature to be so industrious. It's our nature to be independent. It is our nature to turn the desert to be a place of mansion. So that is the nature of an Igbo man. The nature of an Igbo man is to start a small business. Before that business will grow to multiple businesses and a very large company. That is the nature of an Igbo man. I think the advice I want to give to Ndi Igbo today is that no matter your level, no matter your ability, try to cover up certain things. Don't try to blow up yourself, because a lot of people will get envy when even you didn't commit any crime. But showing how mighty you are, showing how that you are doing well, and trying to, maybe you are buying cars or maybe you are buying clothes, you are eating all kinds of food, it generates envy. So I advise the Igbo people to try to hide yourself to some extent in certain things so that you won't constitute envy in the mind of other tribes that are living with you. Thank you.
How do we solve this issue of identity denial? You know, most of our brothers, because of the same language, because they are trying to avoid being associated with us, because of this language, because of the same language, today they are saying they are not part of us. Because I've had
anyway, the Igbo people, like I said, we still have the injury of the Nigeria Biafra genocide of 1967-1970, because a lot of people felt that Igbos were defeated or something like that. But we know that genocide, or people who describe it as war, because for me, I don't describe 1967-1970 event in Nigeria as a war. But for the understanding of some people who think that it's a war, that war, the so-called war, was fought against the Igbos by the international world powers, German, Britain, even Russia, and so many international world power fought against the Igbos, and the Igbos were able to hold the whole world with a space of 3 years. You know that before the war, 7 months of the war, the Igbos have already crossing Ore, and that was why the federal government couldn't believe it, the British government couldn't believe it, the speed that we are coming to Ore. So these are the facts before the international community started joining Nigeria to fight the Igbos. If that war was basically only for the Igbos and the federal government, I don't think that that war wouldn't have lasted even 1 year, because the Igbo people, we cannot deny that nature. God created us to be strong. God created us to be intelligent. God created us to be so courageous. In fact, I will say that Nigeria is breathing today is because of the Igbos. We have contributed in all ramifications, in every sectors of the life, in politics, we have contributed, in business, we have contributed. Even the people that are, have them mindset or the concept of the so-called one Nigeria are the Igbos, because of our spread across all the states, our development concept and initiative, our business initiative, and how we have turned so many cities in Nigeria to be a busy area and a business area, courtesy of the Igbos. We have done wonderfully well in that aspect. So the people who still have this mindset of denial should understand that the Igbos will bounce back again. And I want to tell you that when Igbos bounce back politically again in this world, in this country, even people like the TV people and other neighboring tribes, even Ijo and Ogoni, they will even claim and say that they are Igbos. It will happen someday. That is the simple truth. So what we need to do is the Igbos, we need to form a strong synergy. We need to come back to our base and build a base, an economic base, so that people who are trying to disassociate themselves from us because of the event of 1967, 1970 will see the reason to identify with us. So it is something that is happening within a while. We are going to bounce back, and those who are denier will even beat their chest and will tell you that there are more Igbos than you. It will happen someday. Thank you.
Okay, sir. As a leader of Youth Wing, Ohanaeze Igbo, how have you been able to reach out to the youth, the Igbo youth worldwide?
I think
I believe as it stands now, we the Igbo youth need, a leader that we can listen to. So when I came in as a president, one thing I did, and I think I'm still mobilizing the Igbo youth to ensure that we have the chapters of Ohanaeze Youth Council at various states. And I want to tell you that today we have a chairman of the council in all the states of Igbo extraction. Even sometimes, if you go to my Facebook page, you will see their phone number of the chairman of Abia, Imo, Enugu, Anambra, Edo State, Rivers State, Cross River, Kogi, Benue. So I normally publish their phone number
at my Facebook page, Igboayaka or Igboayaka. When you go there and scroll, you will see their phone contact. What you need to identify yourself, take up a responsibility and get involved in the mobilization, because when we do the mobilization effectively, we can be able to initiate programs and so many things that can also help us to move further as a tribe or as a race. Thank you.
Do you believe in one Nigeria?
There is nothing like one Nigeria. Nigeria is irreparable. Nigeria is irreconcilable. Nigeria is irredeemable. Any person believing in one Nigeria, that person must be a big fool, because it is unattainable. Nigeria was put together by the convenience of the British government in order to do business. And I want to tell you that Nigeria has collapsed. Nigeria is like a ship hit by a tornado. So any person believing in the unity of Nigeria, that person must be a fool. And I want to tell you that as far as God Almighty is alive, and as far as God that created heaven and earth, God is not happy with the so-called unity of Nigeria. God wants Nigeria to sit down in a round table and discuss how to survive and forget about what the British government did in 1914. So for us to move further as a people, there is a need for a round table discussion. The worst, at least, that can make Nigeria to see some little way of survival is for us to go back to the People's Constitution, and that is 1963 Constitution that allow each region, various regions, to develop at their own time factors and whatsoever. Like, for example, going back to the history, it is on history that between 1953 to 1963, the Eastern Nigeria was the fastest developing economy in the world, in the whole world, developing faster than even China and Singapore. It is on record. But today, you can see what is happening in Nigeria today. So the British government put Nigeria together in order to make Nigeria politically and economically stagnant. Nigeria cannot survive. Nigeria cannot move forward. When you look at it, the disadvantage we have had as a unity of a country is more than any little advantage you can think of. Look at the level of debt. Look at the level of violence going on in this country. Look at the multiple ethnic crisis and religious crisis that is going on every time. I mean, you can say that the movement of Nigeria is one step forward and 2 steps backward. So this is a reality, something somebody said about 50-something years ago, is still occurring today. So I want to state it categorically that Nigeria cannot work. Nigeria is not even a zoo. A zoo is better than Nigeria, because in zoo, animals, they are according to their own species. Nigeria is a jungle. Nigeria is in a state of nature where life is so brutal, nasty, and short. This is the situation of Nigeria today, and the only remedy for Nigeria is the need for referendum. So people that has capacity to form a country can form, or at worst, we can go back to a regional government. That is the only thing that can solve the problem of Nigeria. Otherwise, Nigeria will continue to be a graveyard for its citizens. For the past 61 years today, Nigeria is a graveyard to its citizens. And the only way to solve this problem is to go back where the rain started beating us. And that is why I respect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He's a prophet that saw tomorrow, understand that Nigeria cannot work. And that is part of the reason he started the agitation of Biafra. But unfortunately, because of those that have held Nigeria into political and economic bondage, they conspired against him, imprisoned him, incarcerated him, and used a law that doesn't exist anywhere in Nigeria to judge him and imprison him. And that is why today, the only solution for them is to release Nnamdi Kanu, have dialogue with him. I think around 2017, he made mention about the nationalization of the Igbos. He talked about the issue of seaport, international airport. He talked about railway and so many things. Instead of federal government to address the issue he mentioned, what they're interested is to incarcerate him. What they're interested is to start killing the IPOP. What they're interested is see a way to stop the agitation of Biafra. But I must tell the world today that the issue of Biafra cannot stop because the issue of Biafra represents injustice against the Igbos. And hence,
Okay.
this injustice against the Igbos continue. The agitation of Biafra will continue. So the only way to solve the agitation of Biafra is one, taking step and look at those issue of marginalization, which Mazen Nnamdi Kanu have raised today. Like I said last time that today the Igbos have the closest international the Igbos have the closest ports that link to Atlantic Ocean. But unfortunately, they are making use of Lagos that is almost 60 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean. While we have at Ihiala, a potential seaport, also river that link up to Osemoto in Uguta local government that is only 18 nautical miles to Atlantic Ocean. It was discovered in 1958. It was sabotaged when they went to dredge it in 1959. The British government abandoned it because they discovered that it is in the heartbeat of Igbo land. So these are the part of the conspiracy that these people have done against Igbo. And you think that you can beat a child and tell the child not to cry. It is impossible. You cannot beat a child and at the same time tell a child not to cry. So the beating the government, the federal government is giving against the Igbo is the orchestrated, deliberate marginalization against us. All this conspiracy against us, and you think that we cannot keep quiet. We cannot keep quiet. And the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, I must tell the world today that there are millions of the Igbo youth that are more angry, more aggressive than Nnamdi Kanu. But there is time for everything. And if they think that they can quench the fire of Nnamdi Kanu, they cannot quench the fire of other progressive Igbo youths that are interested in self-determination struggle, that are interested to stop this marginalization against the Igbos. So, the only thing we need to do is to go back to a drawing table and know that Nigeria cannot work. Nigeria cannot work. That is a simple truth. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So another question. This is the last question, sir. It's not really a question, but I want you to advise the youth who have been facing injustice regarding the same, the same term, Igbo's the problem of Nigeria, because it has been affecting most of our youth wherever we are. You see some landlord who wake up in the morning and give an Igbo man quick notice. More fair or more Igbo. You see some shop rent, they wake up one morning and begin to demolish Lagos. Some state governor will wake up one morning and demolish Igbo market. So what I'm saying is that, what advice do you have to give most of us that have been faced injustice regarding that term, Igbo, the problem of Nigeria?
We continue to endure that statement until we get our own country. What I am sure is that even the Israelites that suffered more than 400 and something years at Egypt, and today Israel is one of the most powerful country in the world today. So we continue to endure all these things, and we must focus on our Zion, and that Zion is our total liberation, and that Zion is the land that we have, and so that our human intellect and our potential can be developed in a country that we will call our own. So I encourage Igbos, however you are being marginalized, however you are being intimidated, don't give up. Continue to stand on your ground. I want to assure the Igbos that very soon we are going to our Zion, our land of freedom, our land of liberation, our land of independence. And I am sure we will get it right, and we will get there. That is the only solution for an Igbo man to develop his or her own potential. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate you for coming on this platform. I hope to meet you here once again. I know you are already a friend of the channel. I pray that, as the channel grows, we'll keep on bringing you here. I really want to advocate for more Igbo dominance, whether in Nigeria or in Biafra. To me, I don't really believe in one Nigeria because of so many things that we have faced. I don't really believe in one Nigeria. But if it happens that Igbo person becomes the president today, I want to ask you, if it happens the Igbo person become the president of Nigeria today, would you change your mind of one Nigeria?
If an Igbo man, if you like, put an Igbo man, 100 of them, to become president of Nigeria, when the issue of marginalization against the Igbos is not addressed, the Igbos will not feel comfortable to be in Nigeria. If you like, make my father the president. If you like, make whosoever you care about to be the president of Nigeria. It cannot solve the problem until other regions understand that the Igbos cannot be marginalized. Like if an Igbo man is the president of Nigeria and we don't have seaport in here, and when you look at it globally, the Igbo people are the highest in terms of business, export and import, and they want me to agree in Nigeria. And Igbo people, when you talk about traveling, Igbo people are the highest in issue of traveling in this country, and we don't have international airport. Before we can travel, we must go to Abuja, Lagos, Kaduna, or Kano before we can travel to any of the make any international trip. This is unacceptable.
You're right.
So even if an Igbo is the president of Nigeria and all these infrastructures are being denied against the Igbos, we must hit the call of Biafra even more than ever. That is the simple truth.
You're right, sir. You're right. You're right on that. And I don't think the issue of that has been, has been on the table. I don't see reason why an Igbo man want to travel and he move all the way from Lagos, all the way from East to Lagos. Recently, I learned that the only visa, the international passport office we have in Enugu has been closed. I don't know how true it is, and I don't know how this thing it is. So, do you really know much about that? I learned that the only international passport office that prints international passport.
That is not our problem. Our problem is international airports. Our problem is seaports. There are things we need. If they like, let them put the printing of the thing in Sokoto. We don't care. There are things we need. If we put Alibo in order, I don't need international passport because I don't need to travel. What am I traveling to do? I will tell you that as early as between early 60s, 51, 52, if an Igbo man is traveling outside the country, somebody will be looking at you that this person is not really okay because of the kind of robot or economy we have within that 50s to 60s. That is a simple part. So there are things I don't like discussing, putting an international perspective. We don't need all these things. Like I said, what we need is international airport. What we need is railway. What we need is a seaport. These are the things we need within Alibo. It's very, very important. Those things can bring other economic development in our land. That is our true interest. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We call it a day today. Is there any message you have for your youths?
My message for Igbo youth is that today, any Igbo youth that doesn't have PVC, that Igbo youth is the enemy of the Igbos. Go and get your PVC and get ready for 2027 ballot revolution. 2027 ballot revolution will not be business as usual. Like I said, the code of 2027 election is Egusugede, and you should know that Egusugede is the dance of the monsters. I want to talk about referendum in Nigeria today. What you can use to vote in referendum is your PVC. Go and get your PVC and get ready for anything that will happen in Nigeria. If you are not the enemy of the Igbos, get your PVC as an Igbo youth. Thank you. Remain blessed. Join Ohanaeze Youth Council for us to restore the dignity of an Igbo man in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. You're welcome, sir. Maybe we'll call it a day for today. By, let's say, by next week, we'll still come up with another topic, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your presence, sir.
God bless you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.